So the heat problem of the cities and also the flooding can be solved to a lot of extent if we bring back some aspects of nature back to the cities.
We have very sound law as we observed, but implementation part of it is somewhere not very satisfactory.
I think the problem is in two tiers right now. One is the existing city where the flooding is happening, what we witness on the news channels and every day in our life, and the city that constantly growing, which can still be salvaged.
We are in a building here. What was there before? Like here or any other building you take, what was there before? It is either a soil surface or a water surface, both, or a rock surface which again would redirect itself to this, which would, the water would seep in basically. And now what has happened? Everywhere, it's either covered by concrete, tar, or some other material which is not permeable. Now, what is permeability? Is the ability of a material to let, in this case, water pass through it, and then that's when the groundwater is recharged, and when there is lack of rain, borewells can be used up. Now, borewells you keep on digging in Bangalore because there is no place for the water to seep in. So, what can be done is that bringing back nature to the cities. We all talk about technology and all of that, but I always say going back to the roots is the only way forward. Because see, in the new places, we have a lot of like houses suggested. We can plan the city. How well we plan it, that is another thing. But let's say whatever has been already built, to bring back nature on that. For example, a green roof at the top, a vertical garden, and the concrete, the tar. We have been doing research where to make that also permeable. When that happens, a lot of the water, the green roof, when it falls there, it gives time. Directly, it doesn't go on the road. So it delays the flooding, and this can be used for harvesting or any purpose, and also cooling the buildings and etc. So the heat problem of the cities and also the flooding can be solved to a lot of extent if we bring back some aspects of nature back to the cities, and permeability, making cities permeable again, basically.
See, during 1980s itself, the Supreme Court of India observed that the primary duty, of course, in the backdrop of municipal bylaws, Municipalities Act, the primary duty on the part of municipal corporation or the state government is to maintain the effective drainage system. See, most of the time what we witness is government is either not taking up this project at all, or it is not progressing at all. So at any point of time, the municipality cannot take the defense of no fund, or we are looking at the state government or the central government for the fund. No, court observation is very purpose of creation of self-government is to maintain such drainage system, hygiene, primary health facility, education, safe drinking water, etc. So if that is the case, during 1980s itself, the observations have been made. But unfortunately, nobody is caring. We have very sound law as we observed, but implementation part of it is, somewhere not very satisfactory. That is how, this is not solution to the problem. This is where I see
problem begins.
The beginning of the problem.
I think I'll truly agree with you that we have enough laws. While we should not have any more laws, we should just focus on implementing the laws better. I think the problem is in two tiers right now. One is the existing city where the flooding is happening, what we witness on the news channels and every day in our life, and the city that constantly growing, which can still be salvaged. The area which is still growing and that can be salvaged, there should be a very robust urban governance system in place even if it's not in the limits of urban municipal corporations, there is to be a really strong mechanism to make sure that the building plans are done in an appropriate manner with the abiding with the laws that are already there. Second would be that we need to now go for a retrofitting, because now the city is already built and it's going to get flooded every year. The changing in the monsoon pattern also makes sure that the month worth of rain is now suddenly pouring in one day. So when a month worth of rain is pouring in one day, I'm sure even if we have the best infrastructure in the world, we'll not be able to cater to it. So those are the extreme challenges and we'll have to face them because that's the reality. But where drainage system can be improved to make sure that this problem is mitigated, we need to take a, we'll need to do a new drainage survey for the all cities, keeping in mind the new buildings, because all our drainage surveys must be old with the original natural drainage. Now we have to do it again where we take into account all the buildings and we find out spots where there's a heavy chances of water logging, and we might just need to upgrade the drainage system, as you were saying, that's a basic duty, and massive investment will go on. But unless we retrofit the drainage to make sure that it deals with the newer realities of the city rather than old, I think this is a problem I think Bombay tried to solve it. A lot of cities are trying to solve it, but the sooner we do it, lesser we'll have to suffer.
One small example, I totally agree with you. One small example of how all of this is interrelated is with our consciousness is that the drainage system, however bad it might be, however minimal, it would the flooding would clear after a certain point. But now it does not, because most of it is clogged by the plastic we throw.
Waste management.
Yeah,
I was
so
about
this
to
way how
emphasize,
it is interlinked. We respecting nature is what I was telling, is because of these things. They all connecting the dots.
Blocking not only man-made drainage system, it is blocking natural water system.
Everything and the industrial effluents will directly go to the water bodies. And it'll affect us only. We are not affecting anybody else. As sir rightly said, a month of rain is falling in one day. It doesn't mean that if you take the annual rainfall, it's the same.
It's the same. But
it's only we'll show that this is happening, but water is not it is the same water, but irregular rains. That's it.
Irregular and sudden.
Burst. It's.
I think that waste is choking up our drainage. There has to be I think we have enough solutions there. We just need to start retrofitting our cities as soon as we can. While we make the new areas sanely, we plan them sanely, consciously, so that they don't really ruin their own future.
Chandigarh is supposed to be planned city, right?
So Chandigarh was a planned city, definitely planned by Le Corbusier, but Chandigarh was planned in 1954. So it was planned for a very limited number of people. So what Chandigarh government did was, it did not allow people to build more. So in a way, it controlled the population by not allowing people to build more. So in a way, it's kind of a utopia, where somebody who bought a house in Chandigarh in 54, they have an extended family now. They need 4 more houses, but they cannot do it. So that's what happening now. Chandigarh is expanding itself into Mohali, that's part of Punjab, and Panchkula, that's part of Haryana. So again, you cannot artificially control a city's growth. It has to be allowed, because growth, there is no option to growth. People are going to live in cities. The only solution is we plan them better, and as sir is saying, we need to implement the existing laws. Please don't make new regulations. There are enough.
There is no necessity.
Yes,
actually.
There is enough compliance for me as an architect to or a planner to, but just make sure you implement them on ground.
No, but I don't know how you are accepting my point. See, implementation, as you said, who has to catch the bell? See, now what I personally feel is, personal accountability should be attached to the executives. Officers, executives. See, who will be held responsible? You are there, you are recruited and you are designated there only for implementation purpose.
If you are approving the plan, you are accountable.
You are accountable.
And also as a professional, if I am proposing a design, I should also be held accountable. with all the awareness and professional license that I have, and even then, if I'm proposing something that is not in sync with law, there's also citizen liability. So officers should be,
Made
there has to be
accountable.
somebody
Yeah,
accountable,
yeah.
and once you start making them accountable, I think everybody will start falling in line.
Things will be better.
You just need to whip once. My 5 officers,
Will
suspended.
get frightened. Yeah.
In next 6 months, everybody will be like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not touching this file.
Yeah. Is what personally I feel.
Yes.
I mean, what you are saying is one way of it, and I will not go deep into what's right or wrong with the but all of us want the behavioral change. It's not like a sudden burst of rain, sudden burst of concern for the environment or disgust for the city. No, be conscious minute by minute.
And remember that this can happen next year as well. Don't be a
It
loser.
will happen. It will happen
That
in a
has
worse
to
way.
be, that is also a part of observation of Supreme Court. These environmental consciousness, etc., should be inducted into school syllabus, etc. It is inducted actually. It is inducted, but nothing is happening constructively. That is very unfortunate.
See, the thing with that is, I take a very light example. We had moral science, all of us in this
Yes, we all studied it.
and my maths teacher would take that period. For them, it was a free period. So environment has become like that. It's a very light situation. Yeah. So you have to do it. I do it. But once you sense it, once you look around, once you have the connect with the nature, you will see how we are distancing ourselves. That's when you will want to, be it as an engineer, as a lawyer, as anything, you will have that responsibility to do whatever you do. Be it produce a shirt, produce a electronic gadget, build a building. Do it as sustainably as possible. That is your responsibility. That is your knowledge. That is your skill.
And if Bombay can be built on a reclaimed land from an ocean, it means urban planning and technical prowess can solve this problem. This is not unsolvable. We just need to have a conscious approach to it. This is a problem.
Political will is also very important.
Yes, we need to solve it. It's not that this is going to be permanent. A lot of cities have solved it. It's not that we are the only one facing it. But people, as you said, people need to be conscious, and government needs to be accountable at every level. From your officer to,
Of course.
and the entire vertical of the government should be held accountable. And not just during elections, but on every year basis.
True.
I think just because, as you are saying, we are not holding anybody accountable for a problem, and also because we are not able to pinpoint who is to blame. As a citizen, tomorrow, you have no idea where to lodge a protest, because there is such a murkiness. You don't know who is operating, and who is approving, and who is building roads.
But all of that, if it's in a private sense, you don't know who has approved, but you know who is buying, it's you. And if there is a sustainable house construction, okay, and a very ethical, no issue with the land, anything, there is one. For a price 1.5 times the other one, which is unethical, you don't know where you got the permission, unsustainable materials. People, okay, I'll be sustainable tomorrow, now I'll save 51 crore or something like that. So that shows...
That's a natural course of how people would behave. And I think we should preempt this, that people are going to behave this way.
Yeah. So this is why, as you both rightly said, the implementation of laws should be rigorous, so that
personal accountability should be attached, so that it will considerably. Personally, I feel
somebody should have something to lose for doing something wrong.
I mean, we all are losing, but
we are all collectively losing.
Yeah, we don't see it every day. That's why we are.
I think it's a slow death is not noticed.
Yeah.
As Stalin once said that a million death is a statistical and one death is a tragedy. So I think we are actually working like that. A slow death is not.
See, the air quality has reduced, the water quality has reduced, the food quality has reduced. I mean, what is development basically? So that is why there is even sustainable development goals. Development without sustainability is nothing. It's
not a development.
Exactly, it is not at all a development.
Physical infrastructure you may build and it may be visible, but that is not real development.
Exactly. You developed a building, but you have damaged a lot of other things. When it's sustainable development, You've developed something without damaging something else. So that needs to be incorporated. We don't have to be in a race, slow and steady itself, but without any harm.
I think JN and RUM by UPA and then now the smart city, Union government really tried to solve the urban infrastructure problem. My only worry is that such central schemes are not actually identifying the problem. That certain cities are growing in a speed that nobody is able to imagine, and those cities will require a very unique solution to solve its problem, and other cities may have different sort of a problem, a solution. So we need to have a case-wise solution rather than having a blanket scheme. A Bangalore's reality is not same as Bangalore's reality. But Bangalore needs to be allowed to solve its own problem by giving enough autonomy, enough funds, and then it can be solved. Otherwise, if you treat all cities same with one scheme under it, then it's not going to be a long-term solution for all of us, I believe.
You can't have uniform,
Yeah, it doesn't
formula.
work. It
Yeah,
doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It
Because
depends
city-
upon.
I mean that I agree to this partially. I say partially because see, if it's regarding a design, I agree. It is different for different things. But the problems what we have identified is universal. At least for India, like one is the law implementation, other behavior of us,
Behavioral change.
and three, lack of respect for nature. That is universal wherever we are seeing issues in the cities. So this can be changed, and how they can be changed, those implementations
Might
will
vary.
need more of science.
Yes, yeah. It might vary for all cities.
Yeah, because for that climate, what is the best solution? But the problem is universal. Solution is local.
I think with material we can actually solve the rainwater harvesting problem. I think concrete, as you
Yeah,
rightly
permeable
said,
concrete,
permeable
yeah.
concrete. I think Maharashtra also mandates that all the hotels or big projects will have to have a certain capacity of rainwater harvesting.
Rainwater, yeah.
And in urban areas, I think it has to be a law or a rule that every project which is more than a simple residential bungalow or a apartment should harvest water.
There are many cities in the world. Sorry, I'll make this last point, sir. It's called sponge cities. Wuhan we know for COVID and all of that, but this Wuhan also is known for a sponge city concept. What does a sponge do? It sucks up everything. The same way there are concepts how to make the cities more permeable. I think that will be the best solution for the flooding aspect.
I think that permeability will also solve the flooding.
Yeah, exactly.
If water is quickly absorbed
Exactly,
absorb
underground.
And the
extent
groundwater
of,
recharge,
running
cooling down of the local, atmosphere, everything, a lot of benefits.
extent of flowing water, it will get reduced.
Reduce, yes.
So obviously, it contributes.
Again, the problem would be the short-term solution. Government might think will make a law that this concrete needs to be used in all projects, without thinking that this concrete might not be affordable for
Suitable.
most of the projects.
also.
Suitable.
For a heavy truck, probably it can't. But
Break.
It might be allowed. People might solve themselves. You make a rule that this much of rainwater harvesting needs to be done. You might do it by concrete. You might do it by grass. I might do it by open land. Don't tell. I think we are also putting so much of complexity that eventually a user has no option but to flout the rules. Maybe sometimes it also happens that nobody wants to flout the rule, but rules are maybe unfollowable. There may be cases where if I follow all the rules of setbacks and everything, I might not be able to build a house. In that case, what will I do? So also there is a need to rationalize how we treat planning and what kind of laws are actually required. I think that because if we just start telling that follow all the rules, I think 80% of Bangalore or all the major cities will become illegal. And small house owners will be the most illegal constructions in my view because they can't leave setbacks all around.
Yeah. Space is so limited.
Space is such a limited.
Yeah.
So it's a problem which has multiple facets, I think. But I think it's solvable with planning and technology.
Definitely.
We have enough examples that this can be solved.